I realized that I lost, for example, $500,000 that
Yeah.
cost me into bankruptcy. The question I asked myself, if I can lose $500,000, that means at some point I managed to earn $500,000, right?
Absolutely.
And if I could have earned $500,000 before, that means I had the exact skills, the knowledge, the expertise to do it again. So for me, bankruptcy has always been temporary. The only question is, which route should I take to recover the fastest possible?
Hello everyone, welcome to the Achievers Show. So our goal at the show is to bring to you some of the top achievers from the world to share their strategies and mindset so that you can apply in your life to achieve breakthrough results as well. So in today's episode, we have a really special guest who managed to go from being bankrupt to building $1 million business and expanded into 14 different countries. Now, just to give you a context, she was a college dropout not because she wanted to, but because her family couldn't support her education. And her life was very different from most of us. She lost her son at the age of 21 and went into depression. But because of the support of her family, she managed to recover from her depression and she managed to start her business. Now, she managed to build this business and operates in 5 offices in 2 different countries. Now, just when she thought everything was on track, her business failed in the following year. She lost everything that she worked hard for and went into bankruptcy. She was forced to shut down all her offices, sold off all her assets and dealing with defamation and court cases. And she even lost her home. Now, most of you here would have given up at this point of life, but not her. This amazing lady managed to pick herself up, start a whole new company and grow it into a multi-million-dollar company that scaled across 14 different countries. At the age of 29, she was recognized as the Singapore Youngest Business Guru, and she was also awarded as the Asia Greatest CEO of 2019. And she is an influencer on social media with over 200,000 followers and 1 million reach on her LinkedIn account. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Iron Lady who never gives up, Leza Klenk. Yay. Welcome, Leza, to the show.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank you for being on the show because I know you have a really tight schedule and you make time for this, so thank you a lot.
Thank you so much, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. So let's just get started of you introducing yourself to our audience.
Yes, exactly from what you briefed earlier is very accurate. So basically right now I'm the CEO of a Spenders Group. So Spenders Group has a lot of many companies under different verticals. So we invest in baby goods at marketplace, we invest in cosmetics distribution, we invest in advertising and marketing, as well as educational tech as well. So from there we operate in more than 19 countries now.
Wow,
so we
19.
expanded again. With managing directors in place to look after our affairs in these countries. We are headquartered in Singapore, a Singapore registered company. All our C-levels are operating out of Singapore. And I'm a mother of 3, so my eldest one is going to be a teenager next year. That's where my head is going to come in. So 12, 10 and 8, and they're homeschooled at the moment. And also one of them is pursuing business at this age.
Wow.
Interesting, yes.
Now we know that your life is very different from who you are right now. So we know you have also been through a lot of tough moments in your life. So I'd just like to ask this, what does being rock bottom means to you? And also, how would you describe your lowest point in your life?
So I believe that I've gone through 2 lowest points in my life. One is personal, as you know, when I lost my son to stillbirth. That is one of the most heartbreaking moments anybody has got to endure. I don't wish it even for my enemies because it is a very painful state, and I recover from that depression and eventually build a business. When you talk about rock bottom, to me, I define rock bottom as a spot that you are in your life where all your resources are cut off from you. In order for any of us to be successful, to recover, to make money, to earn a living, we need a resource. Whether it comes with our skill, our expertise, people, network that can help us scale, a job, all these are resources that we can earn an income or build ourselves up. So rock bottom is position, which is temporary by the way, that all these resources are cut off from you. And in that situation, you're mentally, emotionally, and as well as sometimes physically not so stable until you overcome the situation by having strength. Once you're in the better state of mind, you manage to discover what channels you can still thrive and you see things clearer, especially you learn from your past mistakes.
Yep.
So the lowest point of my life, apart from the time that I lost my son, was also when I lost every asset. I don't have any personal attachment to materials, but it is always still heartbreaking when you know you worked so hard, you built so much, and then you took so long to build it, but you lose it so quickly. What we built in 4 years, we lose in barely 3 months.
Wow. Okay.
So that change was too dramatic for me. I think that's one of the reasons why I was having trouble accepting the fact that everything I built is going to be gone, and going to bankruptcy was a very tough period again. So that I would say the lowest point of my life. And as a mother, as you know, once our resource of income is cut off, we don't care about ourselves, but we worry what are we going to feed our children. We can go on to borrow money, but until when? So at some point, that's what lowest point of my life was.
So when you went into bankruptcy, how many children do you have?
3, all 3.
All
so
3.
I started business when I already have 3.
Okay.
So I was a stay-home mom for 7 years, and then one day I decided to run a business to change my income. By then I already had the 3 children, but they're all under 4. So now they're bigger.
So what was the life like when you went into bankruptcy and you struggled to feed your children? What was the life like?
I like that you asked this question, because people should know how life changes. People think that it's just a change of status. It's not. It's a change of lifestyle. When your income changes, everything changes. So the fact that for that 3 months during the process of going to bankruptcy, basically the authorities go through every possible asset you have, and they either shut it down, they seize it, or they end it. So basically, until they consolidate your total assets, then they know how much you have left and how much you should have. So at the end of that period, I constantly worry about my children. So I had my parents to look after my kids for a while I tried to get all the lawsuits sorted out. At that time, the company had taken on a couple of investments. So the issues with the losses, after all the assets are seized, we still couldn't recover enough to pay back investments, which is why we had to go through bankruptcy, even after we've lost every cent in our bank account. So the year 2015 was the first year of bankruptcy. And that is the hardest year. It's always the first year is the most challenging year in business, in new changes.
Absolutely.
So for that year, we have to cut down. The year before, we were living in a 6,000 square feet penthouse. So you can imagine the following year, we were living on a $500 rental home in JB, because we cut back everything. I had one apartment which I had to rent out in order to feed the children, and all of us were living on $200 a week. And this is a family of 5.
200 a week.
Yes.
Okay.
A family of 5. We couldn't afford a rental car. We live in JB. We took public transport, and we stay home most of the time. So we try to occupy our kids. Can you imagine? But not promising them anything that other kids could go and have, and they couldn't. And I spent the whole year actually initially blaming myself, because I thought this is my fault entirely. I could have controlled the business better, and I didn't. But eventually, when I realized as well it was my fault, I realized that then if I'm responsible for this going downhill, then I will be responsible for taking this uphill. So I changed my mindset, saying that it's a privilege, because I know my mistakes now, and I'm going to use them in my power to change everybody's income. So that year was relatively hard also, because people start to become negative. Because at some point when you were glamorous and successful, everybody's around you. Can I do this for you? Can I do this for you? But the moment when you actually go broke and unemployed, sort of, you can see who your true friends are. So that spiritual journey teaches me a lot, that sometimes just because somebody do something nice for you at this point of time, it doesn't mean someone who don't do favors are not going to be there when you need someone. So it tells true friends in my circle, and honestly, that doesn't only change my life as a whole, but it changed my choice of people I keep in my network. And that is a great lesson, because the following year, 2016 onwards, I know exactly who to keep and who not to keep. And that's how I can get happy and more successful.
Yeah, I really like your story about when you hit rock bottom, you really take responsibility and you accept that, yes, this is my fault, and you keep on going. Because most people I know, they blame a lot of things. They blame the economy, they blame the people. But I really like the fact that you take responsibility yourself.
Yes, I have this saying that says that, if we keep on blaming people, we'll never find a solution to our problems, because we refuse to acknowledge we have a problem. Even if it was actually people that caused us this situation, we just need to understand how that can happen. So the next time when we work with people, we have more safety nets and we become more selective. So to us, the fact that we get to learn that expensive and valuable lesson is a privilege to own that wisdom.
Yeah.
Mistakes for us to own is good because then it comes with lessons and wisdom that nobody else can have because they don't have that mistake. That's why we should be proud of the failures we do because that's a stepping stone to become successful.
Ah, nice. So I'm just curious because a lot of us, we are human beings, we all are emotional creatures. So when something bad happens to us, we tend to blame the environment first, only we start looking inside. So do you have the same situation where you start to blame the environment first and only then you realize that you need to start taking responsibility? How was the transition between that shift of mindset?
I think initially when I first do business, I start to realize that it's every time it's people's fault, right? That's why I cannot get things right. It's always people's fault. And I realize it's also because of the way I manage expectations and expecting people to be 100% of me. One time somebody told me, if you expect, for example, your employee to be 100% of you, they will be running their own company.
Definitely.
So you have to reduce that realistic expectation so that it matches the employee and employer mindset. But one thing that I realized about that is that if I could change, there's nothing to change about the past because I think that the people that is sent to you is meant to groom you. And it's only from what they have educated you is what can make you to a different person. So now whenever I go through problems, I look inside. Because what we are is who we attract. What we are is what opportunities we win. What we are is what network choose to linger around us. So the fixation should start inside of ourselves. If we are not getting the opportunities we want, what can we change about ourselves? Character, trait, attributes that would attract the people we want. So when we start fixing from inside, honestly, it's much easier because fixing people is way so hard. So when I do that, I realize that my circle around me changed, my environment changed, the people around me changed, the kind of expertise, the kind of knowledge that I learn also change. So the change starts from each and every one of us. And the longer you blame other people, then the longer it takes you to know and understand that it's you who can dictate this change.
That is really powerful.
Thank you.
So I'd just like to ask, when you lost your business, when you went into bankruptcy, you have 3 children to feed. So do you have the fear inside you that what if you couldn't make it? What if you will stay bankrupt for the rest of your life? What would happen to your life? Do you have that fear inside you?
Okay, that I have a lot of fears, but that fear is not one of my fear.
Okay.
The reason is because, right, when we, for example, in my case, I realized that I lost, for example, $500,000 that cost me into bankruptcy. The question I asked myself, if I can lose $500,000, that means at some point I managed to earn $500,000, right?
Absolutely.
And if I could have earned $500,000 before, that means I had the exact skills, the knowledge, the expertise to do it again. So for me, bankruptcy has always been temporary. The only question is, which route should I take to recover the fastest possible? So, and I like it that my children is small and we never gave them luxury. So basically they know that they live on the same standard of living all the time. It's not like you take them fancy restaurants every day. You give them normal food, you eat at home. So even when bankruptcy, we just use the same budget to keep up with the same lifestyle. So kids at that time, they're below 6, so they don't even have much expectation themselves. So from there, it doesn't affect me because they weren't expecting me to keep up with anything. To them, it's the same. Mommy goes to work, we're at home, we got food to eat, now we want to play outside. So I don't have that pressure. And that fear of not recovering, that doesn't exist in my head. Because like I said, if you can lose something, that means you can earn something. If you have nothing to lose, that means you've earned nothing.
Absolutely.
To lose. If you could lose a house, that means once upon a time you could afford to own a house. So with that skill, dive deeper. Maybe that skill bought you a house. Go and hone that skills, polish that skills, and then make that skill turn you back more money. So next time you buy 2 houses.
So it's really about the mindset that wealth is not just about the money, but it's about the knowledge that you have. Because money, you can lose it all, but the knowledge that you have, the wealth that you have inside you, no one can actually take it away from you.
Yes, exactly. One of the things that you highlight just now about defamation, that's what I thought as well. Initially, it's affecting me emotionally. Because imagine as a public figure on social media, people always give their opinions about what you do.
Yep.
Okay, they have comments about how they want you to validate your decisions, they want you to justify your actions for no good reason. But you're only a human being.
Yep.
You have your own reason, but you not necessarily share. So with regards to defamation, I realized that the words are just words. At the end of it, right, people can cause you trouble, that you lose money. But like you said, people cannot take away your track records. People cannot take your history, your expertise, your brain, your knowledge. This stays with you. Even after you sold your company, your knowledge stays with you.
Absolutely.
So nobody can steal it.
Yep.
Nobody can come in the night and try to rip it off you. Nobody can take it without your permission. It's your choice to give. And even if you give knowledge to people, guess what? You still own it as well.
Definitely.
That's the best part about knowledge.
Yep.
So for me, as long as all of us progress, upgrade, we improve our knowledge, that is the richness in life. Because you have things that you can always trade for money for another day.
Very nice. So when you are, I know you are a college dropout, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so how did you get into business and how did you grow your knowledge in business? Like for most of us, if we are on this journey of building a business, what is the advice that you have? How did you do it back then when you accumulate so much knowledge in business and you're able to build companies after companies? What is your advice?
Okay, so I was a college dropout at 17. So actually 16, I was a straight A student. I got a scholarship from the government. But the government scholarship, which would cover my university, also comes with a 5-year bond to become a teacher. I don't want to sign a bond to be a teacher at that time. I'm 16. I don't know what I want to do yet. I cannot go and sign a 9-year, 5-year bond, 4-year study. So I rejected the scholarship. So my parents were a bit upset, but I went to go to junior college and enroll myself. And I had to pay my own way in school, which I couldn't afford, so I had to sell bubble tea.
Okay.
So every day after school, I go to the shop and sell bubble tea for $4.50 an hour to earn $20 a day to get through school. But what I don't realize is I'm trading time.
Definitely.
Trading time for money means I lose time to study. I couldn't wake up for lectures. I fall back behind academically, and end of the year, I was asked to retain. But there's no way I can recover because I know the following year I also still have to work part-time. So in the end, I decided to let go completely, and that was sad, but I thought one day I might pick up education again. I got married like a year and a half later when I was 20. And I've been a stay-home mom for 7 years. And the reason why I enter business, sometimes we enter into business because of desperation. Because there is no other way, that this is the only way they can see. So at that time I had kids, I couldn't go out to work. I don't have a A-level certificate, so I couldn't get a good paying job. And at that time, my husband then was working and he wasn't bringing enough income. So we were struggling debt on debt month after month. And I thought if this continues, I'm going to be broke. I'm going to go bankrupt anyway. So I said, I'm going to take the risk and build a business. So when the children was 4 and below, I decided that even though I don't have corporate knowledge, no business acumen, no bachelor degree, no business network, I'm going to do it anyway. And they say if there's a will, there's always a way. And because you're so desperate to be successful, if success is the very air you breathe, you're going to make it anyway because you want to survive. So I entered in business, take all the risks, take decisions, and I realized that if I want to earn more, the business gets tougher. The decisions get heavier. That means I need to upgrade myself naturally because my business demands a different version of me at every stage.
Definitely.
So I said, if I want to be a good worker, I want to be a director now, I want to have employees, I need to learn stuff, leadership, I need to learn about delegation, I need to learn about disbursement of resources and budget. So all these things that I don't know, I force myself to know because I want so bad to be successful at managing a company. And when I wanted to go global, I take another risk, so I upgraded myself. I'm the kind of person, I don't believe that school is the only resource of education. I don't believe that you need to have a certificate after you spend time studying. The knowledge you earn is what stays with you, not the paper. Alright, so if you want to learn, you learn anyway. Whether someone's going to give you a accredited degree, whether someone's going to acknowledge you for diploma graduation, it doesn't matter because the knowledge is what you want.
So when you talk about upgrading yourself, what are the ways besides going to college, what are the ways that you use to upgrade yourself in business?
That's a very good question. So I'm a bit extreme. So because I wanted to develop fast, and I don't have that much time. So what I did was, for example, in 2015, when I was going through bankruptcy and I wanted to recover. So I know that if I want to recover, I need more knowledge than I already have. So for the whole of that year, every week I ask somebody out for lunch. And this person can be a stranger, just out of random investment banker, this person could be a CEO, this could be a managing director, could be a lawyer. So I ask for time, which I'm willing to invest some small money for coffee and cakes. I don't have much anyway.
So one person a week, is it?
Yes, so I don't see them again. So this one time I see them a week, I ask them all the questions I want to know about them. So I don't tell them I need them to save my business. I tell them, tell me everything about investment banking.
Yeah.
So I know all information about investment banking, and they will give me the good advice because they are in that profession. So in the end, I learn new things. So all this week, I learn new things in law, in the business, in finance, and I consolidate all the information and I pick what's useful for my business and I apply and I change it. So this is a lot of work and a lot of patience because most people want solutions immediately.
Yeah.
But solutions are never direct. Just because you want to work out 2 + 2, you know the answer is 4. It's nothing as simple as that.
Yeah.
So you need to find knowledge as a whole, and then you need to identify and filter which one makes sense and then apply in your business. So that's one of the things that I did. The second that I did, to force myself to learn, I take heavy risks. For example, 3 days before salary, I will purposely drain the bank account.
Okay.
Because I need to work out on sales strategies, which is the most fastest and effective to turn over revenue, right? What you do it better when you're desperate for money. So when you spend all the company money and you need to pay people in a couple of days, then you get panic. This panic is actually a healthy thing because we all need stress. Prolonged stress, not advisable, but stress, you can. And you have to purposely inject this stress in your life in order for you to upgrade yourself. So that's the second thing, of course, that I did. And third thing, I study competitors all the time. Why do you worry about textbooks when you can learn direct practices from your competitor in the same industry? Find out your closest competitor, what are they doing, their social media strategies, when are they posting, why are they posting, what's the reaction of people, of their target audience, because their audience and your audience is the same. So from them, they give you all the pointers on how to do better. I pick up all the good points. The one that you do bad marketing, I don't follow. The good one I follow, and then I tweak it to my business and I apply directly. So they are actually a mirror of my resource.
Wow.
So those 3 things are what I did. They're risky, they take time, but they're beneficial. That's how I can teach now in universities.
So when you said the second way is actually to deplete all your company's investment, is it?
Yes.
So to leave you in desperation.
Yes.
Aren't you afraid that you can't make back that and you can't pay the salary to the people?
I do worry at some point. It's very simple. If as a boss I cannot recover my business, let's say their salary is on the 1st and let's say I extend it another 15-20 days and I still cannot pay it, then there's no point keeping the employee anyway. I'm a lousy CEO. I cannot turn revenue. So it doesn't make sense for me to keep. But if I could meet it, then that means I'm capable to hire more people because I know the sales strategy to win. It's a risk and depends on how you see it. Like I said, the more comfortable you are, the harder for you to grow.
Are there any times where you fail to pay your employees?
I do, a lot of times. My employees are extremely patient with me. I'm surprised.
You have good employees.
Yeah, exactly. No, because they know Miss Leza, she's going to recover anyway. It's just a question of time. So and because they know my practice as the way I learn, they also make sure that they stretch their monthly budget a little bit extra, maybe another 5 days, another 6 days. So, and I appreciate it because to them, they know that I take this as a learning experience, not on purpose. If you have the money, you don't want to hold people's money, but you have to learn at the same time as well. But most of the months, it's completely fine. People don't really ask whether they get salary or not because the moment we have earlier, we send. The moment we are slightly later, we send. At the end of the day, most importantly, if an employee is happy with the company, it really doesn't matter exactly the date you pay. Because they just work according to your style because they love their job very much.
Very powerful. So for the first strategy, when you talk about you meet different people every week.
Yes.
So how long do you do that and how many people do you meet over this period of time?
It was the whole year of 2015, which is the year I was bankrupt. And I think I've met over 45 people.
Okay.
So, and they're all different, most of them are all from different backgrounds, different profession, some different profession but from different countries.
So do you meet them like randomly or do you research on their background and you say that yes, this is something that I want to learn from, then I want to meet this person?
I research a little bit, so I know exactly what their profession is, the title or position they hold in their business, they're basically their decision-making power. As well as their kind of industry. So which means that if I've seen 3 investment bankers, I don't want to see another 3 investment bankers. Okay, so something like that. So once I identify they're a person that I would like to connect with, I make a friendly approach to ask them if they don't mind, if I can catch them anytime at their convenience.
Yep.
On my expenses, of course, for coffee and cakes. Lucky for me, they pay most of the time because they think maybe I need it more than them. So, but eventually, they do spend at least 1.5 hours with me, just entertaining my questions of their expertise, and they willingly share. Surprisingly, you'll be surprised. People who are successful, people who are knowledgeable, people who are already intelligent and smart, they're not one who's arrogant. They are more willing to give knowledge than people who don't know much.
Yeah. So how did you find these people? Is it through social media?
Through social media, you can find them on many platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn. The moment you connect with somebody or somebody makes a friendly approach to you just to connect, you can always do the extra work of finding out their profile a bit more.
Yeah.
And if it makes sense to you, you can take their conversation to another level by, hey, let's catch up in person. I'm around the area next week. And most of the time, people don't mind. If they're busy, they'll always give you another date to match. As long as it doesn't inconvenience two people, nobody will say no to meeting up. So that's why I feel that that's what social media is for, to be social.
Yeah, so for me personally, I use LinkedIn a lot as well, and I connect with a lot of people as well. And I found out that it's really powerful to have conversation in LinkedIn and to bring that conversation into a real meetup.
Yes, like we do here.
Yep, that's how we got connected.
Exactly.
Yep, so when you were bankrupt, what was the moment where you think that, yes, this is the threshold, I cannot stand this anymore, I need to change? So what was that moment that inspires you to change?
Actually, when I was bankrupt, I wanted to give up every day. Every day I wanted to give up because maybe I was lack of patience, or maybe at some point I cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm wondering how long will this torture is going to continue. 1 month, 2 months, it became 18 months. Every night I worked out how to comfort myself, which is what we all must do. Because if we can build ourselves to be stressful, we must figure out solutions to bring that stress down. It must be in our power. We must have the upper hand to control our emotions and our mental. So I figured out that when I tell myself every night when I go to sleep after a long day of non-productivity, I always say the word, just one more day.
Just one more day.
And it's so powerful because all I think about after I say that is tomorrow. I only need to think about tomorrow. It's stressful when we think about the next 10 years. It's stressful when we think about the next 30 days. What to feed, how do I pay bills and stuff like that. But if we think only just about tomorrow and we give all our focus, our attention only what's going to happen tomorrow. And whoever we meet tomorrow, how do we get the best out of them to help us elevate to the next level? Tomorrow can be so powerful. And so when I continue that another day, sometimes nothing happened tomorrow, Shu Yi, believe me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing happened, absolutely nothing. And I tell myself again, maybe tomorrow, right? Maybe tomorrow.
You must have the faith.
Yes, and tomorrow. So the moment I manage to comfort myself, I can see clearly that if I can keep going, if I'm given the life to wake up and breathe every day, that means there's many things I am given an opportunity to recover from. So I'm pretty sure that an opportunity will come, and just that thought kept me going. And also, of course, with my children. And I said that if I want to tell my children one day, in their hardest time in their life, not to give up, then I should be the leading example of how not to give up. So once my children, they grow up to understand, if my mother never give up on the toughest time to ensure that we get fed, our future is secured, then whatever they go through in the future, they're going to tell themselves the same thing, because my role model is exactly the one who raised me. So that's what I want to become for my children. So I don't want my children to remember me as somebody who gave up during hard times.
So during that period, you are still focusing on building your business, is it?
Yeah, so I identify which business. Now, when you don't have a lot of resources, you need to identify which business, if you have multiple, which
And how many do you have at that time?
No, at that time we were forced to close all.
Okay.
So when you want to recover, we can choose to recover which one or all. So I choose to recover the tech companies. So we mellow down on the brick and mortar because of course it's high liability and operating costs and resources. So we said let's build tech, because tech, if we have a good prototype, go-to-market product, we can sell our shares for the potential valuation, and then we can use the shares and grow global. And it's exactly what we did after 18 months.
Very nice.
We pick a business, we feel has the highest and fastest potential, we invest all the time, money, whatever we can afford, I can afford at that time, and I built the prototype in 18 months, and then I raised capital funding.
Very nice. So we know that you are actually an influencer on LinkedIn where you have 40,000 connections, is it? 53,000 with over 1 million reach.
Yes.
How did you, over the last 2 years, how did you manage to build such big connections?
It is strange. I was talking on stage yesterday and I asked people how long have they had their LinkedIn accounts, right? And people like 10 years, 5 years. And I'm like, well, in 2016, I still have no idea what LinkedIn is.
2016, 16, okay.
3 years ago, I have no idea what LinkedIn is. I only know Facebook. Okay, and then I was writing business articles on Facebook, and people were not liking my articles because they don't like to read lengthy, nerdy essays. And then my friend called me one day, you know, Leza, your content does not belong on Facebook, it belongs on LinkedIn. And I'm like, what is LinkedIn? And he says, LinkedIn is like Facebook, but professional. Okay. So I went there and opened my account in January 2017, 5th of January, I remember. I'm trying to add my friends and I only know 20 people. So I'm like, I don't even belong here. I don't know anybody. So I realized that I don't have enough corporate friends, corporate professional, enterprise level. So I thought, but hey, I'm already comfortable with my network, but I want to go to another level. I need to tap in opportunities of bigger investment, enterprise opportunities, bigger contracts. So I need to succeed in this platform. That's how I did it. So I realized that people are not going to pay attention to me because I'm nobody. And it's not like I'm going to bribe people and give them money to like my posts. So I realized one thing, that the one thing we all have is value. And our value comes from our experience and the lessons we learn. These are valuable assets because somebody else want to learn the same lesson. So when you give out value to the community, naturally the community stays around. When I start writing, so what I did was I start reading articles and I recap all the times that I meet the people in 2015. I write case studies, I write business articles, I share personal stories of the lessons that I learned. And I realized that's when people starts coming, you know, 1 connection, 2, 10, 10,000, and I realized that people stay. And I realized that's all people want. They go on social media because they want to absorb more value than they can in their real job every day. So if you can give value, you will attract the right people who appreciate that value, and the same people will want to give you value back. So that's how I grew from 20 connections to 53,000.
So it's more about not about creating content, but documenting content that is your lessons and it seems to be authentic, is it?
Yes. Remember one thing, right? Although people love to read short articles, you know that the thing that makes money the most is always series. Movie makes money once. Very short period of time, 2 weeks in the movie. But series always make money. Somebody pick it up, they watch again the whole series. Because why? Series tells a journey. Same thing with books. One book may or may not be successful, but Harry Potter published 7. So the series is what makes it successful. So same thing with your life. You can write about one article, about a particular case study, but the real story that people want to follow, it's not about a case study of another company that they can read elsewhere, but it's about you that they cannot read elsewhere. They can only read you. So your job as the author of your own journey is to document it interestingly, creatively. Every success is a story to tell. Every failure is a valuable lesson to share. Because of that, people want to be around you and be your friend, because to them, you're feeding them things and you don't have to bother looking elsewhere just from your knowledge. So that's what I feel people should do, and all of us have it. All of us have journeys and very different and all very unique. There's no someone who's better and who's not. It's just unique stories, and the right audience who favors that stories will be in your network.
So how would you recommend, how many times should people post on LinkedIn in order to get where you are today? So when you first started out, how many articles do you write on LinkedIn per week?
Actually, up to today, I only wrote about 56 articles. So that's
altogether. Oh, okay.
Only 56 articles, but they're very valuable articles. So the thing that goes on is I post almost every day. Okay, so I think that most people, if you don't mind, is to post once every 2 days or once a day. Now, your posts have to, the first phase of your post is to make people be attracted to who you are, personal branding. You know who you are, what you do, what you specialize, a little bit of your history, what you love. The second phase, so once you build a community, you need to partially sell, because that's how you can sustain personal branding investment. So when you do phase 2, you post one about your documenting of your journey. The second one is always about selling something, so people know that you're open to make business, to do business.
Yeah.
So that's when people start opening opportunities to do something with you. So for me, I do that in alternate sequence now. So one post is all selling, one post is about documenting, and I repeat that over and over again. So for me, if you want to take a gap, let's say, Leza, I don't want to post every day. That's fine. But remember, if the gap is too far off, the network that lingers is already gone. We say always strike when the iron is hot.
Yep.
So if you put out a viral news and people linger, that's the best time to sell. Not when after everybody has gone away.
Yes.
So you need to think about that and how to apply that in your current position. Yes.
Okay. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Okay, so 5 years from now, I think I would like to pursue more things of other interests. Okay, so my company I love so much. So in the next 5 years, I don't know whether it's going to be IPO'd, whether it's going to be fully buy out, or it's going to have a replacement CEO to take it to the next level without me. Probably I stand as a chairwoman in the background. But I wanted to pursue something else that is more relevant to my life long term. For example, I want to pursue herbal nutrition. I want to do yoga instructing. So those things contribute to my health, even if I'm not making money out of it. Because at some point, our prime years will be gone. The more time we invest in stress, the more time we invest in sacrificing our sleep, our health, our nutrition, one day we will have to pay that price. So for me, I give a timeline that within the next 5 years, my life, my habit, my nutrition must change so that I can live happier. There's no point making a lot of money in the next 5 years if you're going to be bedridden. So you want to make sure that there's a reason why you want to live healthy, because you want to reap the benefits and harvest everything that you built for the time when you were young.
Definitely.
Health has become my priority now, so I try to change my health here and there, but it's hard when you try to manage business and children. So but eventually I want to have better control of my time, making sure I sleep enough, I eat and drink enough, okay, and I do fitness enough to keep my body, my health and my emotional, mental capacity all in the most best state. That's very important. So in the next 5 years, that's where I think about. And of course, I want to spend more time parenting. My children is homeschooled, so they're around me all the time. But in the future, I want to do more things with them. So that's why we started a small business together, because that's how we bond as well. So there's more reason to do things every day.
So I just got this one final question for you. For all our audience who are watching this, what is the one change or one strategy that they can implement in right away, that they can take it away from here and implement it so that it helps them to get closer to what they want to achieve?
Okay, this is very important. There is a famous quote that from Sheryl Sandberg, from CEO of Facebook. Okay, and I love this quote so much because it applies to all of us, and we can change our mindset today, and our life, I guarantee you, will definitely change. According to her, this is what she says, okay? We cannot change things that we are not aware of, but once we are aware, we cannot help but change.
Awareness creates change.
Exactly, okay? You cannot change things that you don't know needs fixing. Okay, but if you're aware of the things that's broken around you, things that doesn't go right around you, and instead of stepping down, you step up to make sure you implement solutions to change, naturally, the change is going to bring you benefit in many ways. So my suggestion is to be fully aware. Life is not just about you alone. In order to live a very long-term sustainable business, a fulfilling life, positive relationship, you need to understand everything that's going on around you. And this has to be done subconsciously, the better. Because once you subconsciously wake up and people tell you, and let's say somebody come to your house and scream at you, instead of reacting first to that anger, try to understand what makes the person angry. If your
Very
staff is coming to work and crying in the office, instead of telling her, hey, you cannot cry in my office, don't, make sure you do your work. Instead of that, try to find out what triggers her sadness. Because you realize that when you're more sensible to the people around you, the kind of decision you make will change. And the kind of and when you show empathy, when you show kindness, that's exactly what you need. Because tomorrow when you need help, the people you care for are the one who's going to go beyond for you. So it's very important to win people on a daily basis, not by giving them a Porsche or whatever, but just to make sure that you understand their predicament, their problems, so that one day when you have problems, they want to try to understand you as well. So that's and you can start doing it right now. Yes, exactly.
Leza, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And I really learned a lot from you today, and I believe every one of you have learned a lot from Leza. So one of my biggest takeaway is really about taking responsibility about your own life, which means that the action that you take, how you feel, how you focus, is all created by you, not the environment. That is something that I really learned today.
Yes, I mean, you can decide if you want to be successful, you want to earn 100K a year, you want to marry this kind of person, you want to live in this country. You actually dictate everything that you want in your path. Of course, there is circumstance.
Yep.
But to get from A to B, you can always find solutions to get to the destination. And I always tell people, just because you want to get to the number 4, doesn't mean it always has to be 2 plus 2. So there's always more ways.
Thank you so much. And we know that you are having a personal branding workshop coming up this weekend.
Yes.
So do you want to share more about this?
On Saturday, this is the only time, we run it one time a year,
Yep.
in KL, one time in Singapore, one time in India. So this is the one we're running in KL. This Saturday, I'm having a boot camp just for 20 people to not only master the skill of personal branding, to win online network, but also to tap into existing opportunities that
Yeah.
you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Because my entire business, Shu Yi, from the time that I raised investment the last 3 years, globalize my company, have partners, hire people, they're all from personal branding online.
Yep.
LinkedIn gave me all of that on one platform, so I can tell you how powerful it is to be around a circle of influencers or people who are decision makers.
Yep.
So if you want to win them, attract them, there's a certain way to do so, and knowing how to tap correctly, which is what I'm focusing on teaching a one-day bootcamp this Saturday. So I'll give you the link later, maybe you can share.
Yeah, definitely we will share with our audience. So for those of you who are watching, who wants to meet Leza live, join her in her workshop this Saturday. And thank you again, Leza, and thank you again for watching. Thank you so much.
Yes, bye.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to get first-hand video on how you can build ultimate confidence and get cutting-edge strategies to help you achieve your next breakthrough in life. Thank you so much.